welcome everybody. Today I have a guest with me in person in the room. His name is Kit Bargmann. So
in the age of Zoom,
it's
a rarity.
So it's always nice when we can get guests here in person. It's always good.
Always good.
Yeah, it's always good vibes. Always good things.
Having people contacts. It's a thing.
Yeah,
we kind of need those people.
Yeah. Well, I met this incredible man actually a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost right out a year ago.
Yeah. So joining one of uncivilized men's groups in person, met this guy who was just a great guy. Thought he had an interesting story to share.
Thank you.
So today, we'll dive in a little bit about your story, talking about, basically a man's journey and going through everything around that and the hero's journey. So
yeah,
I'll let you do a little introduction. Say, where you've been in life and what you've done, fascinating things and story that you have.
I don't know what to do with my hands, in case you couldn't tell.
It's video podcast. It's always awkward hand movements.
I appreciate the intro, man. And a year ago, almost the day, got a message from the founder and president of the Uncivilized Nation, Dave Boyd, Trevor Baum, because they knew that I was hosting this workshop, which, just for anybody who's listening, it's these one-on-one workshops where it's basically just walking you into the beginning stages of the work, quite literally men's work, quite literally everything that we do. It's just the 101 courses of it. But obviously you came into it with a deeper experience than the majority of attendees that are participating in this workshop, which was great because it was really the foundations of what the Uncivilized Nation and Man Uncivilized really stands for, and just lays that foundation for you. So I got a message from those two that morning going, "Hey, is there a guy named Phil Horning coming to your workshop?" And I went, "I have no idea. You have the roster." And Trevor just writes back, "Solid dude," like 3 exclamation points. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy already? I mean, he's got the attention of the founder of our group already. And I thought my intro to him was weird because it came from a tarot card reader. More on that to come.
Definitely a lot more.
And yeah, I remember kicking things off and I was like, this must be the guy, because you were willing to start answering questions like, hey guys, how many of you in here know that we have more than 5 emotions, as Dave Boyd likes to talk about? Happy, hungry, horny, angry, and sad. And your hand just shut straight up in the air. And I went, oh yeah, this is my people. This is my boy right here. I can already tell. And then, then
who has attachment issues? Yeah.
Any recovering nice guys in the room right now? Yep. Then a freaking year later, man, here we are.
Podcast going.
And what a journey it has been for the both of us.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, in the year's time, just sitting back and just reflecting on the growth. And it's strange because up until recently, writing a life map, which if you haven't heard of it, ask ChatGPT. It'll spit you out the prompts for it and just let the pen start going. You will be remarkably shocked. I guarantee it. When you take a pen and actually just write down, how did this man come to be who's sitting here in front of me today from start to finish?
Yeah.
It'll take you a while. I'll be totally honest with you. This was one that it took me a solid 5 days with at least 2 to 4 hours a day dedicated to writing this thing. And then I made it halfway through and was like, oh crap, I'm getting way off track here. Don't need to share that. They probably don't care about the high school girlfriend that dumped me before homecoming. Anyways.
Well, now I'm curious. Like, what was one of the most, what's the best word to describe it? Significant prompts that you had to work through with this life map?
Oh,
yeah.
I think it would probably be, there was a lot of prompts in there that were really impactful. The first one, though, really being the question about what was your parents' marriage like growing up? And what did you learn from it early on?
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. Because looking back at early childhood and examining it through the lens of what did I learn from my parents' marriage that I just showed right up in my own, what were those beliefs that I learned from them? Oof, that was a cold, dark road to go down. And I will say that looking back on it, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There were some things that I did reflect on that didn't make me happy. Because, I mean, when you start diving in really deep into yourself, it's easy to get stuck in the trauma swamp.
Yeah.
It's like tar.
Yeah.
You don't want to live there. Like, go in, know what you're searching for, and truly understand the meaning of the phrase, there is lessons in the pain.
Mm.
And when you're digging back through there, it takes a while. It takes a while to dig through all the layers because it's like you think you get through one layer of mud, and then all of a sudden the mud turns into clay, that turns into concrete, that turns into gypsum, that then turns into coal. That I mean, you dig all the way down into this shit. You're bound to get some of it stuck to you along the way. I mean, the whole phrase in therapy of sitting in your shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I now much more clearly understand why the white lotus only grows in mud.
It's true.
It's also why the Buddha is often depicted sitting on an orchid, or excuse me, sitting on a the white lotus.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Buddy Aaron Luttrell told me that one when the year of 2023 struck my marriage and that dark season descended upon us. Like, that was horrible. And I remember many times talking with, a few friends that were truly just there, that just knew that, and this was before I went to my retreat in March. And, even afterwards, Aaron was actually the realtor who was helping me sell the home. And that was a byproduct of what occurred for that dark season, as part of that dark season in our marriage. And it's a feeling, it's horrible. Just let me just put that out there. And anybody who's going through that season right now in their life, truly my heart goes out to you. And what I will tell you, not saying that I know everything, that I have all the answers to your marital problems, or because I did this, I'm some, guru sitting on a freaking hill. No, that's not what I'm saying. I went from like 0 to like 1. Like, I'm not off the charts perfect at all. And if I were to look back 6 months, maybe 10 months from today in time, I was at where a lot of people are at right now when they hear I went through a dark season in my marriage. And that, to me, having somebody who maybe was there, who was at 1, to me, even 10 months ago. I mean, granted, my wife and I, we've planted our flag in the ground, so to speak, metaphorically here, about 24 months ago, maybe a little bit more. And it was hard after that. It was really, really difficult, but I'll dive into some more details on that later. What I'm telling all this for is when you're in that place, even the smallest little beliefs, even the smallest little phrases of hope, they make a lot of difference. And the ones that really stick with you, you'll understand why. You'll understand why they've stood the test of time, even with the whole like, oh, there's lessons in the pain, or don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
All of those cliches that you hear out there. There's deep, deep purpose in all of those. You just don't really understand them until they apply to your life, and you actually then go through the experience and say, yeah, now I get why the white lotus grows in mud. It's beautiful.
But it needs that mud.
It does.
It needs that dark, rich soil.
Yeah.
And that's actually a part of a journey, is going through that dark and growing within the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where some of the best things in our lives can actually come from, even though how hard it can be to go through it and not see a way out while you're in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But when you look back, and just with that beautiful story that you're sharing, it's incredible to look back to say, where from my darkness when I was in it,
mm-hmm.
have I grown and planted the seeds to grow out?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something significant for those guys that are out there too.
Absolutely.
Going out there through your own dark, and there's a lot of darkness.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, a lot of confusion. And I think that's some good.
There's a lot of uncertainty out there.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that is glaringly obvious through all this, it's we as human beings are so quite literally terrified to our very core of the unknown.
Yeah.
That we don't even become aware of I would even go as far as to say the unconscious decisions that are being made on such a deeply layered, deeply protected level, until the universe shows up with a cosmic 2x4 and or a stick of dynamite
Cosmic 2x4
that has your name quite literally written on it.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that brings me to the quote, without struggle, no person is ever truly initiated to their soul. When it comes to dark seasons, being initiated to your soul really starts to have different meaning first time that you hear it speak.
Yeah.
Truly speak. Not, and by the way, I mean, this wasn't psychedelic journey type speak. It was grief. And so with that, I mean, examining how this descended upon my marriage, I mean, that's where I think we can start at. I guess I didn't introduce myself, did I?
No, but you are making a good introduction.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, and the reason why I say that now is when it comes to the way that I introduce myself to like an audience, whether it's in my career,
right,
or if I'm teaching a men's workshop, even something that I like, something that I'm very proud to say these days as part of my introduction is I'm Kit Bargmann. I'm a 38-year-old, and I'm a married man of 8 years. That's like part of my resume is what I feel like these days. Something to just highlight about me in the very beginning of it, because marriage is tough. It is so hard. And that question of what was your parents' marriage like and what did you learn from them early on about marriage? Whoa. You want to talk about just blowing the doors off of a deep question when you've really started down this path to really ask yourself that big question, who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? When you start looking back at the things that you weren't even aware you learned, especially about marriage, I don't care how much work two individuals have done before they come together. This knowing will completely negate the whole fairy tale concept of I'm just going to meet the right person who's done their work, and everything's going to be perfect, and we're never going to fight. Whoa, that truly couldn't be a country mile from the happiest pile of hippie horse shit I've ever heard before in my life. To be totally blunt.
Yeah. That's what I appreciate about you is bluntness.
It's an acquired taste, folks.
It's very good.
But I mean, but really though, I mean, looking back on it, that was a big one. And I mean, here's the thing that I will give credit to my parents with, though. I mean, I truly do believe now, looking back at them just as human beings, they really did love me. That love, though, was being fueled by what they brought into their marriage without them even being aware of it. It makes them human.
Would you go as far as to say generational?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to the generational side of it, that, and I mean, geographically, where I was at, for those, I should probably tell them, I grew up on a farm in Kansas and Nebraska, small town USA to the absolute T. The only reason why we were even considered a town was because we had a freaking post office. There was literally one stop sign in the whole town. 24 kids in my graduating class. I was related to like seven of them if I would have graduated there, but that's another story. So yeah, dragging that into marriage and the concepts of, you know, my parents, they never fought in front of me. Like, I truly can't remember, like, unless they were fighting with one of us kids, like, and that in and of itself became something, you know, that came out sideways when I finally realized that I want to spend the rest of my life with this woman. And truth be told, she was also my first serious relationship from early through, I mean, we moved around a lot, but I remember my mother always telling me growing up, don't get tied down to one girl. Just play the field. Kind of backfired on her a little bit, ironically, because at one point in time, she actually came to me and was like asking me if I was gay, which to that I hysterically laughed and quoted back to her exact words of wisdom of, oh, don't get tied down to one girl. Just play the field, right? And no, I'm not gay. And money. That was something else that was never, ever to be spoken about in my family. I mean, this was a very, very, I grew up very, very poor. Your money was mom's money was our money, was sort of the unspoken belief system that got instilled early in. If if you can finance it, you can afford it. Always pay your bills on time. That's one thing that I will give credit to my old man too. That was one thing he was always adamant about. But there was so much more to that whole credit game system than what he even knew. But God bless him, he tried. You know.
Yeah.
And looking back, I do believe that he had a good heart. There's a little bit of a different story though, and I found out when I was 9 that that the man who raised me, who had been raising me, wasn't my biological father. And I found that out purely by accident. You see, I had gone to go stay at a friend of mine's house for a few days while my parents were putting our life back together because our house got hit by lightning during a snowstorm, which, check out the stats on that. As far as like snowstorm, lightning, let alone lightning that hits a structure, let alone lightning that hits a structure and starts a structure fire. The odds of this, I mean, you got better odds of finding the winning lottery ticket while you're vacuuming your roof on Mars. Just to put it out there. And this house you can actually look up. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records too, because the family that moved into the house after we moved out of it, the house was essentially totaled, like a complete loss is what I'm looking back. I'm pretty sure that's what the insurance filed it as. You know, I never actually really knew. But a family moved in after that, and they had a problem with rattlesnakes, and they called the exterminator out. Then finally was like, I think we need to sub-X under your house. You guys might have a den under here. And the only reason why I know all of this is because my mother she would subscribe to newspapers in towns that we didn't live in. I never understood why. It was because she was keeping tabs on things.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's how you did it before social media, I guess.
Yeah.
the software enabler of just creeping.
Subscribe.
Just be my friend. Why didn't you like my post? What do you mean? I didn't even know you put a post up.
Isn't that the lost connections section of the newspaper?
Oh,
Be my
man.
friend.
Yeah, she needed a few of those too. Anyways, no. So they sub-X into this house, and they found a den of world record setting magnitude. So let's just add this all up real quick. It's hit by lightning during a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Burns down.
Yep.
And we're not talking like just a small fire. We're talking the fire was in the walls. And looking back, I remember looking out of my neighbor's house while the fire trucks were showing up, and there was a guy on the roof cutting a hole. Flash forward years later, I become a fireman. And the reason why you cut a hole in the roof is to ventilate it, because the house had gotten so hot inside that it was about to explode. So this was a big fire. Looking back on that entire situation, I'm relatively certain that if there is a gateway to hell, a portal to hell, it's sitting on top of a house that would get struck by lightning, start on fire, and then have a den of rattlesnakes living underneath of it.
That sounds like two of the three.
Yeah.
That'd be there.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's probably on the third one already.
What would that be?
I think that's where you have to find out. You got to subscribe to the newspaper.
The water ran red with blood. There's a kid that's like head spinning and, projectile vomiting pea soup. That might be a little bit of an old reference for some.
I mean, I got it.
I mean, The Exorcist. Yeah. And if you haven't watched it, get some culture.
Go watch The Exorcist. That's the advice tonight.
No.
Honestly,
I would tell anybody to go watch Nefarious.
Don't give people that advice.
That's a great psychological thriller. There's no blood and guts, nothing like that. But it will definitely remind you that if there's anybody that's still out there that is online that you encounter that's like everything's just love and light. Tell them to watch that movie.
Yeah,
it'll remind you that you can't have dark without light, and you can't have light without dark.
Yeah,
both must exist. Very Harry Potter of everything these days, right?
I guess it matches the darkness that we're talking about. Of course, being in the darkness.
Yeah, and
but getting out of it.
Getting out of it
too.
Absolutely.
Going through that journey.
I mean, and there's just so freaking much that you learn along the way. And when it comes to two people in a relationship, I mean, the story goes with me. My wife and I, we've been together for knocking on the door of 14 years. We've been married for 8. We've had a long journey from start to finish. We met as personal trainers. We were both coming out of a relationship. Things moved fast. We moved in together within 6 months of dating. We basically did everything you could possibly do wrong right out of the gate. Moved to a foreign country for a little bit over a year. We lived in Amman, Jordan, as the fitness directors for a gym chain out there. And
what was that place again?
It was called Fitness One.
The place that you moved to.
Amman, Jordan.
Amman, Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. And so
that is out there.
I mean, yeah, and let me just tell you that was also my first experience out of the country, because when you grow up that poor, the only vacation I remember going on was when we went to Disney World and Universal Studios with the insurance money from the house burning down. And, before that, my parents sent me away to my buddy's house. And it is when you're boys. And like, I hadn't seen this guy in a while because we moved away. And I had one day to say goodbye to him, and was told that I had to tell this story that wasn't the real story. why we were moving to everybody, which I thought was weird. So,
I mean, house burning down.
well, this was before the house burned down.
That,
So this is a friend that I was friends with before we moved to that house even. So I went to go stay with him, and he was that buddy who, like, oh man, I remember his family didn't farm. His dad was the local pharmacist in the small town, who was also the mayor of the town, by the way. That's how tiny this town was. And he always had all the new video game systems when they come out. He was an only child. I was, at the time, the youngest of three. And I was so jealous of his life. And we're like sitting downstairs playing Super Mario or something. And I was just so happy. I was like, Matt, we'll always be friends. And he goes, yeah. He's like, yeah, we will, because we're the same. Huh? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we're both boys. And he goes, no, we're both adopted. Huh? Yeah, you're adopted. No, I'm not. Yeah, Dan's not your real father. And at that point in time, I mean, I lost it. I mean, this kid was lying to me. He had to have been. And I remember getting really mad at him, and I started yelling at him. I started shouting at him, "You're a liar. Stop." And his mom heard and came downstairs, because we were playing video games in the basement. And she's like, "What's going on?" And I was so upset. I was crying. I said, "Matt said I'm adopted and that Dan's not my real dad." And I remember the look on her face. She just kind of straightened her back up and her eyes really softened. And she goes, "Why don't we go call your mom?" "No, I want to go home." And she goes upstairs, and I remember grabbing the phone, and his family was a little bit more well-to-do than mine, so she had a cordless phone. Just to date myself here.
No, I had one of those. The cordless.
Yeah, we didn't have one. We
and the corded.
We had a rotary phone in my house with a cord that was like 10 yards long. So you could literally go downstairs to use the bathroom while you're still on the phone. But
no, yeah, please continue.
Yeah, I remember hearing her on the phone, just trying to be quiet, and she goes, "Hi, I think you need to come and pick up Kit." And at the time, my parents, this was, we had moved away, so this was like an 8-hour drive for them to come get me. And it was a long, silent 8-hour car ride back. And I just remember when I knew that she was almost there, I remember grabbing my little backpack, being sad that I was leaving, and sitting on the curb in their driveway, and looking back at that moment, like, my little heart was just shattered. And I had no clue how to deal with it at all. Because something else that I was really made to believe growing up was not only to not have a relationship with anger, but one of the things that made me the favorite, which that was told to me, was the fact that I was always laughing so much, that I was just so easy because I never got upset. And when you hear that as a boy, and you have no idea that there was a moment in your life when you knew someone, like, deep down, you knew you knew that there was a father figure that was there at one point, and then that gets ripped away from you.
Yeah.
And all the time that you hear this man mentioned about your older siblings, and you hear things said to you like, "Dan's your dad," and those two are from another marriage. Mom was married before, and that man, he's a really bad man. And all of these horrific things are just told to you about this individual, and suddenly you're sitting face to face at 9 years old with the hard fucking truth, folks, that that was a lie. The entire world was so unsafe for me at that point that in that moment I went completely numb. And I went numb the entire car ride home. And it got worse for me when I came home, and we were living in this tiny little 2-bedroom apartment at the time because that's where we had to move to quickly. And I remember just running to my room, shutting the door, and just sinking into the corner, not knowing what the hell just happened at all, not knowing what to believe, if life was even real at that point in time. I was like, this has to be a dream. Even I remember thinking that as a kid. I was like, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up. And then I remember my door opening and my dad walked in the room, and the only thing that he said to me while I was sitting in that corner holding my knees was, biological is just a word, right?
Hmm.
And I remember sitting there and I remember looking up at him, and I'm like, looking back, I'm like, there was so much rage in that little kid. And I just remember thinking to myself that the father of my older siblings, they always talked about him being so mad all the time and abusive. And I remember just shaking my head, nodding yes. And then he walked out, and I sat there for a minute. And that's what I had to believe. Like, I had to believe that what I was feeling wasn't real. That the fact that a 9-year-old boy just realized the fact that the two people who have been keeping him alive, essentially, to that point, lied to him. That they couldn't be trusted. That the things that they were telling me sometimes just turn out to be bullshit. Yeah. And so flash forward then years later, and I became a fireman. And probably because I do remember watching those guys running in and out of that house, and I'll be damned if it wasn't a lot of fun while I was doing it, man. It really was. And there was so much in me that, looking back now, I'm like, of course I went and took the hero's job. I mean, there were so many moments in life growing up, that what other direction would I really take? And, if I were to dive into them all and start rattle them all off, it's going to be a really long podcast if I start doing that. So I'm going to jump ahead. I turned in my badge after about 3.5, almost 4 years. Because to be honest with you, the bureaucracy and the politics of being a public servant, they're a lot more real than what people might actually be aware. And at the time, this is when I think it was just that pull. It was that feeling of, I need an adventure, because I was protecting the same town that my parents were living in. So
Yeah,
there's that pull, number one. Turned in my badge and decided to move to Fort Collins, and I was moonlighting in the emergency room at the time in Greeley, Colorado, and segued out of it and became a personal trainer. And it was nice, because it was, instead of being so proactive, or instead of so reactive, as you are as a fireman. When somebody calls 911, they're having a bad day. I get to be a little bit more proactive with the people that I interact with. So it's a very, very different shift in just interpersonal interactions to begin with, number one. But then I met Jordan. Oh man, what a girl. And when we first met, our first interaction that we had, oh man, she did not like me.
Is it podcast appropriate now?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is great. She loves this story, because when when I first encountered her, this was like her first day there. I was already busy. I like put my nose to the grindstone. I had all the clients. I was just rocking and rolling. I was like really wanting to just prove myself. Man. So I was running up to the front desk, and there was a girl up there named Mackenzie who worked the front desk, and Jordan was standing up there. I ran up there and I was like, hey, have you seen my clients anywhere? Great shoes, by the way. She had this new pair of sneakers on, and they were like bright pink or something. It's like, count your eye really quick. And Jordan was standing right there. And apparently I just completely just plowed right into their conversation. Just a freight train rolling in there. So I made a great first impression.
That's not your style.
Well, the funny thing is,
Nah.
Smooth and easy like Sunday morning. That's So anyway, funny thing is though, from moment one, looking back at Jordan and I's relationship, I'm like, if they were to make a movie about Jordan and I's meeting and our life, I've actually told her this before too. I was like, I think they would call it Had to Be You. Because you think about that phrase and think about how many intonations that you can put in that phrase and have it mean different things. Yeah, it had to be you. It had to be you. It had to be you. I mean, just right there, we just put 4 different variations on the same phrase.
It had to be you.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and that was just from day one. And then lo and behold, her stepmom, I worked with in the emergency room. Yeah, she was a nurse. And
had to be you.
Exactly. So when Jordan and I were like first, kind of starting to become a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just tell you that she had me when she showed up to pick me up for the first time that we were hanging out together, and she had a pre-mixed vodka Red Bull in a Red Bull can. Oh yeah. She knew what she was after.
I had no idea that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which we don't even drink anymore. Like, the thought of that probably makes us both want to just dry heave a little bit. I know it does me, but she started chatting with her stepmom a little bit, and she goes, "Oh my gosh!" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "You work with Kit now? I used to work with him in the emergency room. He's a really good guy." Much to Jordan's dismay, I'm sure at this point in time, she had me pegged, just meathead douchebag running up, trying to act like the big shot in front of the front desk girl, looking for his client. Likely story. Maybe she's right, but
if she's watching,
that right there, that was the foot in the door. It seems, right, to give me a chance.
Yeah,
and then. This is my first corporate encounter with truly like corruption. The true definition of nepotism, I would say, because there was a assistant fitness manager at this particular club location, which will be undisclosed, that was really saying some very insulting, degrading things about her. He was kind of the cool guy. Assistant fitness manager. Yeah. So I started getting into this, and one thing leads to another. Jordan and I, our relationships are beginning to be seeded, essentially, to really just at beginning stages. And she tells me that all this is happening, that she's being called in for a meeting, and I get told that I need to come along too. I remember standing in that office with the club manager, with the 2 assistant fitness managers, the general fitness manager, lead fitness manager, whatever the hell you want to call him, and another trainer who I'm still good friends with today. And it went all around the room, and I listened to all of those guys in there essentially make the perpetrator the victim. because the company wants to protect its asset. He was doing the most personal training sales in the entire region in very, very nefarious ways, I might add. At least that's to my understanding, allegedly. Now, when it comes to my turn to speak, I'm hearing all these guys talking about, oh, he's really in a down place in life. And I know this is all complete bullshit. And I'm listening to him and I look over at Jordan and she's just shriveled in the corner, crying. And it was like that little 9-year-old boy that was sitting in the corner wondering what the world truly had become in front of my eyes. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a trauma response. No, because when you're growing up, you experience more than just feelings of trauma. Little t here, folks. You also can look back and you can remember times when you felt courage.
Yeah.
When you felt true laughter, joy, love.
Yeah.
And I remember looking around the room and seeing her. And I looked at all those guys and I went, fucking shame on all of you. What you are saying about that woman, the girl who's sitting in the corner right now, crying her eyes out, is completely false. And you all know it. And I will not stand for this. And I remember Jordan ran across the room and hugged me, bawling her eyes out. And I just whispered to her, I will call you as soon as I get out of here. And she ran out the door. That was it for me. Like, I don't know where or why that 9-year-old courage just stood up and was like, no. And I didn't know why, I should say, until recently when I started really digging back through, okay, what did I really learn from my parents' marriage? And I do remember that my old man, that was one thing that he was adamant about. You're a gentleman. And gentlemen stand up and do the right thing when the time calls. So I will give him a deep amount of credit for instilling that, because a part of me that really needed that, even though he may have been a little bit damaged at the time, he needed that fuel. And yeah, that's when I would say things really between she and I, it's like the feeling of it, man, I could sit here for hours and just talk about the amazing things about it and all the fun little Easter eggs along the way that you discover about marriage that turn out to just be really freaking cool. Like, I won't get too far off topic here, but I remember then just knowing, just, this is her. I found her. I knew it. And I was like, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes. And how little I knew what that statement truly meant. And from the word go, it was that way. Then we moved back to Colorado. Our contract there kind of came to a bit of an abrupt end. Truly the culture there, if I were to go there now and experience it, man, it would be very, very different. But then, even watching it then, it was very, very subversive in the way that the suppression occurred for women. And it all came to a head at one point when, Jordan would get talking to, like, brought in the office, talked to about her dress attire. We were literally opening, we were training trainers. We were the directors there.
Right.
So we opened the country's second CrossFit box. the first gym location to have co-ed workout classes. This was a big deal.
Yeah.
Very, very big deal. Like we had pictures on social media that some of our athletes came to us and said, "Hey coach, please take that down. If my family sees me working out with women, they will disown me." That level of fear with these classes. And Jordan at one point, she got called in because she was wearing a t-shirt and literally my workout shorts. So these things were like down past her calf almost. Saying that she was revealing too much skin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We did have women only workout classes in there, which we had huge blinds that went all the way to the floor. And according to Jordan, that those women, when those blinds went down, they were like working out and their G-strings were hanging up around their pants, like which was hilarious. I mean, and power to you. I mean,
Yeah,
where were you? Like, I truly at this point in time, I could care less, but that is funny to even think about. And we're going to leave our little tiny apartment one day. I look over and I see her and I was like, "What are you wearing?" And she goes, "What?" She has on my hat, a black long sleeve hooded shirt, like not like a sweatshirt, but just the hood shirt.
Yeah.
And long sweatpants. And I was like, "You know, it's 113 degrees out there, right? Because we're in Amman, Jordan, and it's late April, right before Ramadan." She looks down and goes, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize." I was like, "The next time that we go home, we're not going to get that check-in to go back." So when we get home, and a wild thing was occurring that I noticed when we went out to just go for a walk in our neighborhood that we lived in. She was staring at the ground. And more specifically, she would do it when men would approach. So the impact that it had on her, I mean, that was staggering to see. I didn't understand it at all. Like the generation that I grew up in, women truly were equal on the farm. They got up at 5 a.m., went out and milked cows with us. Like I remember doing it when I was a boy with my mom. She would be in the truck, like just in the grain truck during harvest season, running it back and forth. Like she had duties and responsibilities to fulfill that by all rights, any man could also be doing the role of. There was you just didn't see people that way. People were people, and we all worked our asses off because that's just the way it was. And you got to provide for the family. So there you go. There's deeper stuff in that statement alone there too. But we moved back to Denver, and I remember both of us coming back going, "We got to find jobs." And I wound up, we were living very far up north in Fort Collins, and I wound up getting a regional sales manager job with Better Bodies. Remember those guys?
It's been a long time.
A long time.
Long time.
And I was running the whole region all over Denver. We had 4 locations in Denver. I had to manage all of them. So I was driving from Fort Collins all the way down to Aurora at like Iliff and 225.
Mm-hmm.
It was I think it's a different place now. It's called something different. Bodies by Perseverance, I think.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so I got that job. I was making lousy money, and I was spending so much on gas. I mean, I was driving like upwards of 400 miles a day, it seemed. I mean, to there, like from where we were at up north to down there was at least 65 miles one way. And I remember thinking to myself, I really want to propose to this girl. And I took her dad to lunch and asked him because growing up, that's another thing that it was just like, that was just what you were. I think I honestly learned that from a movie more than anything else, because I didn't learn it from my old man. I mean, my old man he was physically present, but emotionally not really. don't even remember seeing him cry one time growing up, except at my his grandfather's funeral. I remember seeing 2 tears. That was it.
Mm.
And I mean, that was something I did learn. Boys don't cry. That was quite literally told to me after I got kicked by a bull. Yeah, right.
Wild.
Right.
It's wild.
So, man, we finally moved to Denver, and we're in this tiny apartment that we could barely afford. And moving down here, it started pouring rain on us. This isn't a fun story for Jordan to remember, so baby, I'm so sorry if you see this. I love you, and that day was, to me, well, I got you. She was very upset. And then I decide I want to start a IV therapeutics company, which like IVs, right? Like intravenous cocktails. You see them popping up all over the place. We were a little early to that party before it really became mainstream, but man, we had a great thing going there. And we were also self-funded. And it was a couple docs that I remember working with that I'm still friends with one of them today that I knew from my emergency medicine days that were our medical directors and chief formulator and whatnot. And oh man, I took out personal loans. I maxed out my credit cards trying to get this business up off the ground. And I worked without a paycheck for over a year, and all the meanwhile trying to live in Denver. I mean, that's next to impossible. We were basically living on Jordan's income, which wasn't much. Especially after, the cost of living right about then was starting to go up in Denver. And I just remember thinking to myself, I don't know how that I'm going to propose to this girl, but I'm going to. So what did I do from learning from my parents' marriage? I financed that ring. Gosh. Oh, don't do that.
Be smart.
Talk to ChatGPT today about your financial situation.
This is not legal advice for any financial advice.
No, huge disclaimer here, folks. If you're taking any advice from this, I hope it's just for life. This isn't professional. Good God. Anyway, so then on my 30th birthday, we basically put it on credit cards, but we went to Vancouver. While I was in Vancouver, my business partners at the time, there was a clause that was in one of my partners' incorporated articles that were in Wyoming. So we were a DBA of his incorporation, doing business as the company, right? I never saw, and here's business lesson again, right? There's a lot of these sprinkled throughout the story. Should always have a look at those incorporated articles and definitely review those with an attorney moving forward here, because there was a clause in there that allowed him at his discretion to take controlling shareholding with only one other partner, as long as he had his vote to take controlling share of the company. And they locked me out of my own business. And I remember like when it was all getting pieced together, and there was something tragic also happening for Jordan at the same time. And at the time, I remember, she said this to me out of anger, and as far as it goes today, there's much deeper meaning beyond this. So take this just as the setting for this. She looked at me and she said, "You need to start being able to take care of me." And I will hand it to those hurt parts in me, because when they heard that, man, they clocked in and they weren't about to clock out until I heard the words from her. "Thank you for taking care of me." I thought I had to earn it.
Because that cuts so deep. And especially for men.
Yeah.
Who want to provide.
It's in our nature.
It is.
It truly is. It's hardwired into our DNA. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
What drives that today in me, that desire, that primal virtue, is fueled by something totally different than what it was then. Because then that meant if I can't do this, she's going to leave me. She's going to abandon me the same way that everybody else has in life. And I want to prove to her that I'm worthy of her love, that I'm worthy to be loved, that I'm worthy of her, because and that was something that I really had to dig out. Where that came from was just that deep feeling of unworthiness. And it's really strange when it comes to these sort of core beliefs about a man. And I would imagine this is true for women too, but we're talking about men right now. I like to think of when you are growing up and your personality is developing, your wounds are starting to develop, all this starts stacking on top of one another.
Yeah.
And then you take all those layers and you turn them sideways. And then you get a fat freaking caulking gun or fracker, if you will. And you just jam that right in the middle of it, and you just turn the pressure on high. And what spider webs through that is shame. Because it will transverse through every crack, every layer in your life, and it will reach out and grab those hurt feelings and just juice the entire system.
Yeah.
So,
and that shame can show up in a lot of different ways.
Because it's just so sticky. It gets in everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, the shame is, that's why I call it tar.
It can burn.
Yeah.
Too.
And it can stick.
Anger, or it can cause sadness, and yeah, the stick.
And it can kill you.
Down. Yeah.
Look at the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Tar pits.
Yeah.
Right?
It can pull you down. Literally let you sink into.
Yep. And it's a dark, black place in there. And sometimes it takes a long time to pull yourself out of, or be pulled out of even.
It's even just to say, bucket it out.
I mean, in trying to, it's like it sticks to the bucket. It just,
it's a very slow process.
Mm-hmm.
And that's healing.
Yeah.
You have to bucket it out, and you have to be in it.
And don't get stuck in it though. Don't live in it. Don't let the work become your identity.
Very good statement. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to go into it, be there, take a few buckets out, come back out.
Yeah.
Before it fully pulls you in.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, you hear it all the time, man. It's like, it's almost like the therapy world on social media these days. It's like it is well intended, and you can't get your therapy from social media. You can't, because if you do, you're going to wind up just labeling the crap out of yourself.
Yeah.
And that tar, oh, there's a label. I'm going to hang on to that. Oh, you got the upset version of you over here who's 6, who's wanting to justify his temper tantrum. Here you go. Oh, I'm just this way because I'm avoidantly attached. Oh, I'm just this way because I'm insert whatever, like a recent clinical term that you heard that's a hashtag on social media these days. It's just enabling and justifying. Don't get me wrong. It's vitally important for everyone to discover these things about themselves.
Yep.
It's crucial.
Yep.
You have to. There's no way to grow without first looking back at, okay, these are the parts of me that no longer serve me. They did at one point, but they don't anymore. So I'm not casting judgment here, but what I am saying with that is, don't allow that to become the way that your mind is wired to think and filter every single one of your decisions, because eventually somebody's going to step on a nerve. And if you throw that out as a reasoning for it, it's playing victim. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's 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 victimhood dressed up as a martyr.
Yeah.
Like, I went through this to discover this about me, and you just have to accept it. Do I get a choice in this? I got questions.
I like the way that you describe that, because it's like the victim, there is true victims out there. Like, horrible shit happens.
Yes.
People are victims.
Yes.
But then there's victimhood
Mhm.
and a martyr, like you said, in a ways that we get stuck in this label that, well, this happened to me, now it is me.
Mhm.
Or that avoidant, anxious labels
Yes.
that we put on. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of ways we got to think about it is, I use anxiousness to try to be in contact, or to not be in contact, even.
Mhm.
Or I use avoidance to not be in contact because I'm scared of it,
Yeah.
or I'm scared of losing contact. So I'm going to become more anxious.
Yeah. It's like the and at the time too. I mean, when that side of your attachment blueprint is really coming to life and
Yeah.
really taking control, essentially, you ask them about it, and they will look at you and say, I swear I didn't mean for it to sound like this or for you to experience it like this. And that here you go, folks. Here's a great cliche for you. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
What if we just took the gold off the road and took that with us? Because all those intentions, while rooted in anxious, fearful,
Mhm.
avoidant behavior, whatever it might be, anger, grief, all those good, well-intended actions, what if you just took the gold from those well-intended actions that you paved a road straight to hell with, and know that, cool, the next time that I build a road in this relationship, I'm going to use this gold
Yeah.
because this came from somewhere that mattered to me. And I'm going to use it to bridge the gap between me and the man that I truly want to be in this relationship, who is all of these incredible things from the healthy standpoint. He has a relationship with himself, both the good and the bad.
So expand more about the gold
Mm. Yeah.
for the folks listening.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to, finding the gold and things, I mean,
'Cause I'm curious on your take, because for me, road of good intentions
Mhm.
and the gold you put into it, it's the pieces of your identity of who you are. The good pieces, like saying I'm a man of these values, and
Mhm.
these are the values I put in for my intentions. Well, take away the intention action and trying to force something and control something through intentions,
Mhm.
like forcing an outcome, but peel back the parts that are the values that that are the good values within you.
Yeah.
Take that back,
Yeah.
use the values, put that inside of you,
Mhm.
and just project that out into the world rather than trying to pave roads.
Yeah.
Let it shine out and be a beacon
Yeah.
for the road to be built upon in a relationship.
Yeah. That's another really great way to describe that. And, when I talk about finding the lesson in the pain, well, some of that pain is living in my past, and it's stuck there until I go to it
Mhm.
and truly look to find it, truly look to find what that lesson is. And I really like to use the description of, when it comes to the idea of inner child work, right? I still think that's a really funny phrase title of that, but it is a really, really great way to consider it though. So when you're really in deep reflection and you're asking that question of, when was the first time that I felt this emotion? You're going back and you're finding this version of yourself that adapted, that something changed about who they truly are, and it had to in order for them to survive in some capacity. And so going to them, thanking that part of yourself, and saying, I know you were just trying to protect me.
Yeah.
And I know that you did that because you're scared. The world doesn't feel safe. You don't trust it. I don't blame you. It's quite literally having a one-on-one conversation and inviting the man into the room and the boy and saying, I got you now. And I need you to trust me, even though everything in you right now, that feeling of resistance, that's that. That's exactly where that's coming from. And I need you to give me that energy back because I need it and you're holding on to it. And I know you're just trying to protect me. And I'm going to give you every reason to trust me now and come with me and don't stand against me. Because what they're guarding are just places in your heart. Like for me, I mean, I can look back across all of them. They're probably all wearing like much different clothes. There's probably a very, very young ones in there who's like sitting in there in a Captain America outfit for sure. That was my favorite. And
But no DC comics in that.
oh no,
No little Batman, little Superman.
Superman. And for me, when it comes to really digging that gold out, it's those moments of pure innocence, that innocent emotion that you really have to dig to find. That feeling of courage, that feeling of understanding that laughter is medicine.
Yeah.
Not a reason to keep people entertained. That feeling of love, of truly feeling the world is safe and I'm okay right here in this moment, right now.
Yeah.
Whether that's the feeling, whether that's, I mean, I can remember very, very vaguely, we had this bull named Rocket Scientist, and he was so nice. He was just this gentle, ginormous beast. Legitimately, he weighed 1,800 pounds. He was massive.
Wow.
And he was the nicest bull in the world. And I remember walking into the barn as a kid, and he had his little stall he laid in over there. And I would go up there when I was like 5, and I would lay down next to him and take a nap. Like, that's how gentle this giant bull was. And I bring all of those up because when it comes to refining those now, I mean, what do you do with raw materials?
Yeah.
You refine them. You form them, you mold them, you quite literally develop a relationship with them. You mold them into exactly, it's like just watching a sculptor. I mean, everybody's seen that meme, right? Where it's got the man who's like, block of clay here and he's chiseling away.
Yep.
Literally forming himself.
Yeah.
Creating a vision of, okay, I know the things that I don't want to be. I know the things that I don't want to experience in relationship. I know the things not to do.
Right.
But using the excuse of, well, I never had this modeled for me. I never had a good example of this. Here's a fun fact. Neither did your parents. And they will be the first to tell you, I'm sure, if you have a relationship with them, if they're still with us, ask them. How scared were you having kids? I'm not even a father yet. But I'm also going to be very open and honest about the fact of, I'm going to be doing the best I can. And the best parent advice that I've gotten so far, thank you, Dave Boyd, is if you're not screwing your kids up a little bit, are you really parenting? Pointer being, we're human.
Yeah.
So were they. Truly.
They had less access to information.
And community. I mean, the community that my parents had in a small town, I mean, it consisted of the church.
Yeah.
So we won't even go there just yet. But so those to me, really, the virtues that I had that I do thank growing up in a small country town for still to this day, they were noble. They were rooted in, I don't want to say traditional values because, you know what, screw it. Yeah, I'll just say it. They were rooted in traditional values.
Yeah.
The way that they were experienced by me, though, really turned me off to traditional values. Bad. Like it just didn't make sense, clearly. I mean, that's the mission of life now to try and figure out because, you know, after my business closed, my partners locked me out being 75 grand in debt and also wanting to propose to a woman who looked at me and said, you need to start being able to take care of me. Really incredible. Really, really incredible. When you truly don't have a plan B, you don't have a way out. You are stuck between a rock and a hard place with a gun to your head.
Yeah.
It is remarkable what we can truly accomplish when we take that mentality with it. And I mention that very, very specifically because the lesson in that is also the same level of belief in yourself. Belief in yourself to be able to truly understand what devotional commitment requires.
Yeah.
I've been asked this great question once before. It was by a younger guy. He was like probably 18. He heard how long Jordan and I had been together. And he said, so what's the secret? Like, what's the cost? I like that question. What's the cost? Everything. Yeah. It will cost you a version of you's life multiple times over. It's funny because Jordan and I, we've been actually had marriage ceremonies 3 times. We've never been divorced. We've divorced our old marriage, though. We've divorced things about our relationship that we made the decision didn't serve us because they weren't actually something that we had decided upon. They were handed to us. They were built into our beliefs without us being aware of it. And so now, when it comes to truly defining who I am as a man, who she is as a woman, there's also going to be another part of that identity in there, especially being accepting of my role. And I get to make that decision. That's a conversation between me and my wife that we have of what do you expect of me? And let me tell you what you can expect of me. And let's just both be aware that what we expect of the other and what the other can expect of us, they're going to say it differently. And the meaning that we hold to what that statement is going to mean something different to both people. And the knowing that you are with someone who is that level of committed as you are, that's where the magic truly happens.
I wanted to bring back the point where you said what it will take to have that kind of magic. The everything.
Yeah.
The thought that came to mind was the shedding of old self, the death.
Yep.
Of parts. And it's when you say everything, we have to let other pieces of us die.
We have to surrender to the fact that every moment here is borrowed. Yeah.
And every moment it's worth the energy from the things that we don't need anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where that death part comes, is we have to let parts of ourselves go, and that surrender.
Yeah.
I think is a beautiful word too. Is we have to give it and push into it. I know earlier we were talking about giving into and surrendering and giving everything we had into something, a belief, without second thought. And there's a lot of that second guessing happening now.
Oh, yeah. It's so easy.
It's way too easy.
It's so easy to second guess something. It's so easy to look and just go, I can hit the reset button on this.
Yeah. But what an incredible journey it can be when you let go, surrender, and give in to an idea.
That this is being guided by something greater than you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing when it comes to that ability to really understand what true surrender is. Being able to look at an entire set of circumstances, whatever it may be, and to hear, to know, to hear from your own deep, deep inner knowing in a language that's written that is only readable by yourself, God, the universe, the creator, whatever it is you want to call it. I don't care. There's something bigger out there than us.
Yeah.
There absolutely is. Only you and that divine entity can read this language. And the thing of it all is, it's heard and read in whispers. It doesn't have language. It can't speak. But what it can do is push and pull.
Yep.
It can give you a push in direction. It can let you hear a thought in your mind and have complete peace in that thought. That's the push. That's the pull. That's the, now, hey, come this way. And I say that because we've all had those moments where you're like, I don't know why, but I just get a feeling. Listen to that feeling.
It's the mystical side of life. A little bit of the mystery that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever you believe in, there is something that gives us a little bit of that push and pull.
Yeah.
And something that gives us some signs, whatever it may be to you. But it's that mystic, that sage within us that needs to listen. It's that component that says, what are the signs? What are the things that are giving me little nudges? And whether you believe in coincidences or not, or synchronicities or anything, there's always just something that adds a little mystery to life.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it all the worth it. And on that note, I think it's a good place to end, to add a little mystery.
Come back for part 2.
Come back for part 2. No.
Kit's in debt up to his eyeballs. He's about to propose to his girl. What the hell's going to happen next, folks? Tune in next time.
Oh, what a voice. What a voice. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate the time taken to listen. We hope you enjoyed the story and also learned a few lessons along the way of another man's journey and going through different, very different life lessons and variances of it.
Well, you know, there's an overarching theme that we've yet to get to here because very, very strategically, as these stories were starting to lay on top of one another, at the end, there's a nice bow that we'll put on this.
I'd say let's go ahead and let's do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's finish the episode with that.
All right.
I like it.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. So far, I've shared with you early childhood days, the struggles that ensued from it, the relational dynamics that began to make little me question things in life, the journey into the world, the adventure called, the realization that something bigger is waiting on the other side. I believe that would put us, as far as the hero's journey goes, somewhere around the end of the second threshold, Act 2, Supreme Ordeal.
And that's the part of the journey that has the uptrend.
Oh, no.
No. But when I say the uptrend,
Mhm.
the second threshold,
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're still not in the dark.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you still have shit to go through.
Well,
And that there's going to be another threshold.
look at that curvature right there, right underneath of the third threshold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, you have dark moments. And for everybody on the call, we had the hero's journey pulled up and with the different thresholds, just because it's very fascinating. And I highly recommend you look it up too. Especially, wow, all of a sudden his name just went right out of my Joseph Campbell's hero journey. There it is.
Yeah.
Highly look through that. And yes, the second threshold is the start of an uptrend,
Mhm.
but there are very harsh moments on that way till you reach the third threshold all the way to the top. And it is one big circle, and there's 4 different thresholds marked. And folks, to note too, the hero's journey usually isn't just one journey in life. It could be something that happens within a day, years, and happen multiple different cycles while you're going through one, another one can start.
Mhm.
So
Stands to reason that a marriage and a relationship will do the same thing. So yeah, it's actually kind of funny. I hadn't read anything as far as like the small words on there until right now. Before this, I read the hero's journey, I read unification, separation, supreme ordeal, but I didn't read anything in there. And the moment that I looked up there and started scanning across, I was like, probably Act 2. And then my eyes went right to the death of dreams, black moment, dark night of the soul realization. And I went, yep, that's close. I'm not quite there yet. I think right at about this story, it's crossing the threshold, new rules, maybe getting into refusal of the return, apotheosis, hypothesis.
Yeah.
Sorry. Good Lord, if I can read that far away. Realm of the wild woman or man.
Yeah.
That's juicy.
Yeah.
Ascent, magic flight. I'm pretty sure that was the flight to Mexico.
More on that later.
Oh yeah. Ooh. It's about to get good.
Well, Kit, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, man.
Sharing your journey, man. I know sharing journey and hearing another man's journey can help other men as well. And that's why stories are so powerful.
Yeah.
So really appreciate you sharing a part of your story. I'll definitely have you back on.
Would love to, man.
And would love to go further. And also, let's talk more about hero's journey. See what other steps we gone through.
Oh man. How much time you got? This is going to be this is getting to Joe Rogan's length of like 3.5 hours now.
Yeah. But no, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Kit. See you next time.